here we go. All right. Gang, for the first time in a little minute. Little minute. It's the, what did we used to call this thing? The Strangeville Stink Show.
I thought it was a couple fatheads, one or the other.
A couple of fatheads. I call it tonight I named the show Strange Times.
It is Strange Times.
My name is Kevin Strange. My friend here is Brad. Stinkhouse Brad.
Stinkhouse.
Stink Show Brad.
Stinkhouse. Crazy out there, man. I've had to really cut down on the amount of people I'm letting spit into my mouth.
It's a time to reduce mouth spitting and analingus.
Yeah. I guess, what is that? Some kind of butthole cursive writing?
It's butt licking in cursive.
Yeah.
For posterity purposes, this is the very first show that Brad and I have done since the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember ages ago, what feels like centuries ago, when I was afraid that when I ordered the prototype card game, that I was afraid I was going to get coronavirus from?
Yeah, we had a lot of phone calls and talks about how it was probably going to be the India.
And it's, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but it's interesting that now we are just infested with this virus over here in America. And it was like a slow motion wave where it started in China and it was affecting my business. I was set to release and launch a brand new collectible card game, which I don't have in front of me. It's in the living room.
Yeah, well, you put that completely on hold, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it completely finished. It's ready to release. It's completely ready to release. I've got prototypes of it. I've play tested it for months and months, and I was ready to go live with it when coronavirus hit. Coronavirus actually delayed the shipping of the final prototype deck, and because China was in the middle of this outbreak.
Yeah, you were getting emails from them that were like, we will finish it when we're able to, and we don't know when that will be.
Yeah, we don't know how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
And, it finally came, and I got all my ducks in a row, and I was ready to launch the Indiegogo when the wave of coronavirus crossed the ocean and hit us smack here. And my God, Brad, have we just been dealing with it?
Yeah.
I mean, we are dealing with an unprecedented, I would call it, I don't know which way to go with this. Is it gross government overreach, or is the government doing their job and protecting its citizens? Because we are so locked down in our country right now, and they say it's for the best, and I don't want to sit here and be cold-hearted and say that we should value our freedom over our safety, and then 2 weeks from now 10,000 people be dead from this virus.
They're like, it's hard to know because they're like, it's serious and nobody can leave the house, but KFC is still open.
Well, that's the fucking shit of it, Brad. That's the shit of it. The fucking car wash is still open, Brad.
Yeah, well, and then even like everybody going crazy over toilet paper. I enjoy using toilet paper. I get it. It's nice to have, but you're not going to die without toilet paper.
Can I be real with you, Brad?
Yeah.
You don't look like much of a toilet paper connoisseur.
I usually, it's kind of like the spray yourself out with the sink.
Your entire brand is called Stinkhouse.
Yeah.
You're talking about how you like toilet paper.
That's really, like, you don't have to have it. You think that Native Americans were like, where's the toilet paper? I have to crap. No, they went out and found a good-looking leaf and wiped their butt with it,
I feel like we live in the craziest world right now where our leadership is telling us to stay in the house. No one's listening to them. The only people, let's talk about this, Brad. The only people truly suffering from these government lockdowns are small business owners.
Yeah.
The tattoo shops, the comic book shops, the vape shops, the head shops.
Even just little like mom and pop markets, little thing, which I mean, small business is already like it's hard to maintain when everything's normal anymore. Like to start a small business and turn it like there's not a lot of Jeff Bezos hanging around is what I'm trying to say. Like it's already a giant struggle, and then this is going to make it a lot worse. There's going to be a lot of businesses that probably like think about if you just started your business like a month before this hit, you're done. Like
you and I know a lot of tattoo artists. They are so fucked right now.
well, they make all their money right now. It's tax season.
And is it really preventing the spread of the virus by not having 6 or 8 tattoo clients in a day versus hanging out in a grocery store, you know, to hoard toilet paper? There's a lot of people in the grocery stores. I mean, a lot of fucking people in the grocery stores right now. I went to the grocery store this morning. And
I bet Walmart is making, I mean, not that they're not always making a killing, but I bet that they're making like a uber duper killing right now, you know?
But how are they not just plague dens? How are they not spreading corona?
And how do you know what they I mean, I don't really know. I'm not a scientist, but like, I would assume that like this virus could live on something that they hand you, you know?
Listen, you know that you have carts and then you also have the little baskets. I'm typically a basket guy because I don't shop for $300 worth of groceries every 2 weeks. I go every couple of days.
Yeah.
The baskets weren't being sanitized.
Dude, I feel like shopping carts are probably one of the nasty. Like, think about how many people touch those on a normal basis. Go into the bathroom, come out, touch them again. Shopping carts are probably. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe anyway. I try to avoid public bathrooms with like everything. I almost rather go in my pants, honestly, than go to the bathroom. But I feel like the shopping carts are probably one of the most disgusting things on earth. It's like how they say money is, you know?
Right. So tell me, how are we protecting our citizens anymore by letting them go pass dirty cough money around and grab shopping carts and baskets that are unsanitized versus
like a completely effect
versus a completely sanitized tattoo booth?
It's just because you have to do things to make people feel safe. Like I said, it's placebo. It's like everybody's freaking out. Well, if you do these things, you'll be safer. But will you really be? It's like, who knows? But they have to. It's like what a placebo is. It's like they tell you it will make you feel better. You take the pill. You don't know it's not medicine, but mentally it will make you feel better because you feel like you took the pill, you know? And I think that it could be some of that, just trying to keep the population from going bonkers. You know what would cause mass panic right now is if the internet goes down and if we start having power outages.
Yeah. You know what I've been thinking this whole time about, you know, wearing the face masks and the washing your hands. You know, the wash your hands, don't touch your face people this is their time to shine. They are more annoying than vegans. They're more annoying than CrossFitters. They're more annoying than atheists. All these people want to tell you about their business. The fucking wash your hands people. This is what I think when the whole. You can't go to retail shops for whatever reason. That's going to say, you know, everything else is open, but don't go into dining rooms and don't go into retail shops. It reminds me of the oxygen masks in airplanes. Oxygen masks in airplanes do fucking nothing for you.
Other than just calm you down. You feel like, all right, I have this thing. Like,
this is a thing I can do while I'm hurtling towards the earth and 99.9%.
Breathe into the bag.
Breathe into this fucking bag real quick, and it gives the passengers something to focus on beyond their impending death.
It's like how the band played on the Titanic until it went under.
So,
like,
and I don't mean that to say that I think that this virus is going to kill everybody, but I think that you're right that these are psychological exercises to try to prevent mass panic.
I also think that it is dangerous. I just think that there's only so much that you can do once it's gotten to this like level.
Yeah, it's highly contagious, and we're human beings, and we're going to pass it around to each other. And I just don't think that these restrictions are doing anything but destroying our economy, which will in the end be worse for us than getting sick. Now, again, I don't want to be insensitive. Tell that to the people that have a grandparent or a
That's
parent.
what I was just gonna say.
Right now.
Yeah, it's
it's not fair to say that
if you don't have I guess you would say like a log in the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not fair to just blanket say that, because for these people that have very susceptible relatives and stuff,
and there has been people die that weren't in that demographic. You know what I'm saying? There has been younger people die. But I think it's just like one of those, like, well, no one's gonna listen unless they're like, some people will listen, but not everyone. The only way you'll get everyone to listen is if the government does what everybody's like, oh, they're gonna come in here and make us all stay in. But if they did that, like if people would just do what they're asking them to do, then it would keep that from ever having to happen. And people freak out over like if they're gonna call in the fucking National Guard or whatever. They act like if the National Guard comes in, we're on our way to Auschwitz. But like the National Guard was just around here not long ago because of a flood. The
flood's coming back.
Yeah,
we're gonna be dealing with that flood and the fucking coronavirus and all those businesses down there in Alton that.
I doubt even some of those are fully fixed from the last time that they were.
Not only are they not fully fixed from the last flood from last summer, they've been forced to shut down all those bars and all those restaurants / bars. Haven't been able to do jack shit for a month. I guess it's only been about a week and a half right now, but it'll in the end it'll have been a month or longer, only to reopen. But not really, because they're going to be dealing with the flood water again. I mean, it's
like one after hurdle after hurdle after hurdle.
It's like almost not even worth it to have a business down there at the riverfront anymore.
No, and it's a couple of years. It's a real cool area, but
it is. But it's so susceptible.
Yeah.
Although you could have never predicted that the state was going to tell bars they couldn't serve people liquor.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand what they say, like where they say only like necessity businesses, but like I said, like is KFC's a necessity business?
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how much is still open. O'Reilly's Auto Parts is open.
Yeah. The grocery store.
We need to work on our cars, but do we need to work on our cars like that?
Yeah, and we need you gotta go. I need Dice air cap valves so bad that you know what I'm talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It's like if we're trying to stop the spread or slow the spread and blunt the curve or however they put it on the news every day, do we really need to go into O'Reilly Auto Parts and buy a fucking change our brakes while we're on vacation from work? We're gonna
potato bowls from KFC, like
yeah.
What they haven't really put a good line as far as like what is like a necessity and what isn't. It seems what do you, business owners pretty much.
Do you think it'll go more restricted before it's over with, or do you think that they're just going to give up because this is stupid?
I think they're going to fight about it, and then I think that also they're only fighting about it over things that don't matter. I think they're fighting about it over like how they're each going to profit from whatever's going to happen. And then they're going to go back and forth about that. And in the meantime, a bunch of time will pass because they can't just agree on anything fast. And I don't think that people are going to stay in their houses.
It's the beginning of spring, dude. We've been in our houses all winter long.
Yeah. And like wintertime, a lot of people have like seasonal depression. They're like dying to get outside right now,
They're all out there. They're all walking. I saw more people walking around today. It was a nice day, sunny day, and they're all out there. It's like, this is not quarantine. All you're doing is telling us we can't work.
Well, then they're like, stay 6 feet away from each other. Like, I can see
those old ladies with dogs are right next to each other.
I mean, Trump's saying that he's opening everything back up by Easter, or at least that's what he wants to do.
Think about that, though. He didn't shut anything down. There have been no national,
That's what I said when he
has no control over that.
Because the Illinois governors who's told us to stay in place.
So it's going to be this big fight between the Democrat governors and Trump.
Everything is a fight between federal government and state government. It's the same as weed. The feds are like, no, you can't, and the states are like, yeah, we're gonna. And that's what this is.
We're gonna tax the shit out of you. It's gonna be legal in name only.
But that little Pitzker is who.
Fat fuck.
Yeah, not
that big fat fuck.
Yeah, that guy looks. I don't. He's adorable. He's adorable. He's like someone that you come across if you're playing like a weird video game, and he's got like stuff inside of his jacket that helps you on your journey. He's really, really cute.
He takes your beer from you.
Yeah,
he sells it to you at a fucking huge markup.
Yeah, you wake up disoriented with a sore butt, but he is adorable. I wonder how. I feel like he's like 4 foot tall. Like he's like a little
4 foot tall and 4 foot around. Perfect.
Yeah, he's robust.
He's a perfect circle.
Yes. Yeah. They're like, and here's our governor, and they roll him out.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's going to be a huge fight. I think that the New York, the California, and the Illinois governors are going to refuse to unlock us for as long as possible.
Well,
it's going to be this dragged out thing. My question is the lockdown going to get more intense before then? Or is it just going to be a lockdown in name?
I mean, Illinois is on lockdown because of Chicago.
He could have left that up to the mayor of Chicago, and that crackhead-looking woman could have just shut down Chicago and left the rest of fucking Illinois alone.
Right.
Down here, Southern Illinois, rural Illinois, we got about 20,000 people in our town.
Yeah, there's very few cases in lower Illinois. When you look at like the main places they're saying California, which is like one of the big LA's, one of the biggest cities. You got New York, which I think is the biggest city.
LA County is like the biggest county per person, and New York City is the biggest city per person.
Like where I live is nothing like Chicago. It's like cornfield.
No, we're a little rural, small town, and to have us on the same restrictions as Chicago is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I guess
again, I say all that being as sensitive as possible because I don't want one person to succumb to this.
No, I don't either, and I don't want. It's hard, dude, because like the media is so full of shit. Like you don't know what you believe. You don't know what.
Yeah, they were trying to blame this dude eating aquarium cleaner on Trump talking about a malaria drug, and all the media sources they fucking just went right for the joke. The headline was "Man dies from malaria drug that Trump touted as a cure for coronavirus." The dude ate aquarium cleaner, dude.
I just saw a thing where a dude ate chlorine or something, trying to treat it.
It's called like chloroquine.
I used to have a shitload of fish tanks, and I wouldn't recommend drinking any of the chemicals that go into your. I wouldn't even recommend drinking fish tank water.
Here, let me ask you a question, Brad. I wanted to do this. I really want to get into comics and the comics we're working on and everything, but whatever. It's been forever since we did this, but I need you to put your aquarium dude hat on for a minute.
Oh shit.
I don't remember if this is 1 gallon or 2 gallons. I used to have fish in here and they died.
Mm-hmm.
Let me switch. It'll be a lot easier to see this on the other camera. I was not a good fish person. Let me back this up a little bit. Okay. So can you see the sort of dimensions here? I think this might be a 2 gallon.
Yeah.
I think this might be a 2 galloner.
Mm-hmm. Got a little bubbler built into it and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I want to put crabs in here.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do?
What kind? You want crabs like the ones that crawl around on sand, or you want like that live in water, like an actual tank?
I think I should get the ones that live in water, don't you? For a tank like this?
Yeah.
It would be pretty hard to make this like this is certainly not big enough for a hermit crab enclosure.
No.
Hermit crabs are like, they fit in your fist. They would be like,
you can get crabs that only get about like you can get crabs. Let me tell you about how to get crabs. But you can get crabs that only get about 1.5 to 2 inches. Like I always think of crabs sideways because that's how they are,
Yeah.
like when you think about them from the front to the back. But for some reason, when I think about a crab, I always think about them in length. You know.
Yeah.
You won't be able to have really many fish with them because they fucking nip them. But in that tank, there's a limited amount of kinds of fish you could have anyway. You're pretty much looking at like a couple guppies or honestly
not really at all.
that. But crabs are fairly easy to take care of. All you have to do is they'll eat tubifex worms, which is like freeze dried worms. And you just put, depending on how many crabs you have in there. The main thing people fuck up with fish is that they overfeed fish. You want your fish to constantly be hungry. You don't want your fish to be like, you know how like if you have a dog, you want to feed your dog like until he's full. Imagine if every time you fed your dog, you gave him like a third of the bowl. Because like what do fish do in the wild? All they do all day long is it's either that I want to eat or I want to breed. I want to eat or I want to breed. Yeah. So if you feed your fish and they don't go like wild insane over the food, you're feeding them too much. Like so that's the main thing with all types of fish, saltwater and not saltwater, is overfeeding. You can, when I would I bred these fish called frontonza that I want to eat, the Tanganyika Lake, and they live so deep in this lake that to bring them up, like when they bring up wild ones, they have to deep, like the way that scuba divers, or they'll get what's that called, the bins or whatever, you know. But if like I would sometimes fast when I was trying to get my fish to breed. I'd fast them for like 2 or 3 days, and they're fine. They don't have to eat every day. Fish don't have to eat every day. But yeah, I would not have more than 1 or 2 little crabs in there. But that would be a cool. The other thing that those little round things are cool to do with is terrariums.
Yeah, Before we go any further, I just went over to Facebook to check. Was curious. We got a fuckload of comments we got to go through.
Oh, great. Is people being mean to us already?
Maybe. Let's see what we got here. Do they go up or do they go down?
I don't think I can see that stuff. Can I?
can't tell if they go up or down. So I'm just going to start at the top. Our buddy Ben here, one of my good buddies, Ben, he says, well, I guess it does start at the bottom. He keeps dragging me down to the bottom. Maybe it starts at the bottom. Our buddy Fred Slow says Democrat-run states will play by national recommendation that they won't receive resources because that's the way the Department of Justice does it. So he doesn't think there will be a big standoff. I disagree, but we will see how that plays out. The thing about the conflict between state and national government is allocation of resources. That's true, but I mean, it's always a big, long, drawn-out fight, like Brad said. They'll fight for it. They'll fight about it as long as they can, while people either die or starve, which seem to be our two choices. Would you rather die from a virus or starve to death? Seems to be our the two paths we're hurtling towards. Hang on. Now the comments are starting at the bottom. So our buddy Ben says KFC is good, and toilet paper is a luxury. You can use your hand. So
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Apparently, he's eating KFC and wiping his ass with his hand. Ben,
you're eating KFC, you're wiping your ass with something. That's for sure.
And then Fred says, at my day job, I see approximately 1,500 people a day. Last week, I've seen maybe 15. It's crazy how much the difference restrictions have affected the day-to-day. Well, I don't know what he does, but my day-to-day, I actually see far more people than I did previously.
Yeah,
I deliver food at night, and it is fucking crazy, which you could expect, I guess, because of the restrictions. People can't go out. They're going to order carry out or delivery.
We just tried to place a Walmart pickup order, and it says that it's going to be like 3 days before we could get it.
That's weird because Walmart.
When I found that out, it made more sense as to why everybody might be ordering pizza.
Yeah.
Because like you got to eat something, and like the Walmart, usually we do those Walmart things, and you can go get them later that day. You know. Yeah. The other thing is that they're out of everything. Like you'll like click something you want, and they don't have it. You know.
Yeah.
we made an order about a week ago, and there was a good amount of things that they'll do that supplement, where they don't have this, but they'll give you this.
Yeah.
There was a good amount of things that they did that with, and then a few things that they just straight up didn't have. This time it seems like it's even more. So, and we have a family member who works at a Walmart, and she said that the trucks are still coming in, but that the trucks aren't stocked the way, like they don't have what all the shit they used to have on them, and they're seeing trucks.
The supply line has to be strained. They're not going to say that. The politicians aren't going to say that because that's going to cause even more mass panic. Yeah. But those supply lines have to be strained.
They can't be.
Let's keep going through here. We're not done yet. Fred also says flood insurance is a scheme. I guess that's when we were talking about the Alton businesses. So, I mean, I hope the scheme is in the Alton businesses' favor. Big thing about the conflict. Yeah, okay, we got to that one. And then Ben says, didn't the stimulus package bill bail out corporations rather than help individual people? That's some... I
think that's a bunch of what they were fighting about, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of CNN talking points. I think Ben needs to turn off the TV. Basically, it's going to fuck everybody and everything. There's not going to be any... if the federal government is put in charge of taking my money at gunpoint and then giving some of it back to me, nothing they do is going to be good. They shouldn't be taking my money at gunpoint in the first place. That's the problem. You notice at no point in any of this have any politicians recommended that politicians stop being paid. That's all you need to know.
Well, I mean, that never happens. Government gets shut down. Politicians get raises during that.
Yeah, that's all you need to know about allocation of funds. Yeah. Funds being my money that was stolen by threat of death. If I don't pay my taxes, the IRS will send agents to my house. If I turn them away, the police will come and forcefully drag me out. If I defend myself, they will shoot me.
The whole idea of taxes is bullshit anyway, in reality. Like, I think me and you have talked before, too. It would be different if you paid your taxes and then you saw that to use area, But when you pay your taxes, then you pull out of your driveway and your car falls into a pothole that's like the size of two of your cars. It makes it harder to really want to pay them. But you don't have a choice, or you get to go hang out with who was the dude? Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, they drug him. Fred says I misspoke. He wasn't talking about the Department of Justice. He was talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump will withhold funds if the Democrat governors don't play ball. I agree with that. I believe that. But I believe that he will wait till the last second to do that because as a political maneuver, that anything that Trump does from a position of power is always used by Democrats as a look, he's a tyrant kind of a thing. So he has to be very careful. And
I also think that he will sometimes like leverage things that are kind of tyrant-like, but he knows like to get things like that done, you have to, it's like anything, dude. If you're going to sell your car and you want $2,000 for it, you're going to tell somebody you want $4,000.
Absolutely. Let's keep going. Let's keep going here. They Ben says, sorry, I'm drunk. There's no reason to be sorry about that, my friend. Fred says, in replying to Ben, he says, not exactly. It helps small businesses that have less than 500 employees. The idea is that they pay their guys so they don't leave the companies for other employment. Keep businesses from having to train a bunch of new people at once. Yeah, I've got a buddy that he got laid off from his job that he does, and he was kind of freaking out about it. He's got a new car payment he has to make and stuff. And I kind of was pretty blunt with him the other night. I said, you're a manager at this place. You can very easily be a manager of a fucking grocery store right now. There's nothing stopping you from walking across the streets of Walmart or fucking Shop and Save and using your resume as a manager in management to get a problem. They're probably paying pretty fucking good for grocery store managers.
My brother-in-law, literally 2 weeks or so before all this happened, got a job as the manager at an Aldi's. And now he's like, oh,
welcome to the jungle, baby.
Yeah. You're gonna die.
Ben says, I agree, taxation is theft. Absolutely. He says, I mean, there's got to be some revenue for a functioning society, but the current American tax system is extortion. Well, I could go into that forever. I believe that most of this
saying earlier, all of any tax money here goes into Chicago. Yeah. You don't pay taxes and see it in these little towns down here.
The only benefit we really have as Illinoisans is that we have pretty decent interstate highways.
Yeah.
Other than that,
we have really rural roads, though. Like
oh yeah. No, the money from the Chicago money really does filter down into the interstate highways. Other than that, no, we don't see any of that. Any of those funds. So Ben is he's arguing. He's saying taxation is theft, but maybe a little theft is okay. I disagree. I believe there are most of the services that government provides would be provided on a volunteer basis. Look at the fire department as an example of a 70% volunteer department that is vital to running society. If we didn't have firemen willing to risk their lives to save us when our houses catch on fire, we would not function as a society. And 70% of firefighters do the job for free.
Yeah, that's a scary fucking job.
Ben says, honestly, I think the two-party system doesn't work. We need to expand and look into other options parties. I see this argument a lot. I also disagree. Europe has a look at European parliaments have upwards of 5 or 6 parties. They don't have a Second Amendment. They're not allowed to carry firearms. They also don't have free speech. They can be thrown in jail for calling someone a tranny. So more government doesn't make better government.
I just think it would be cool if they would
two-party system. They're just gonna. It's like wrestling. They're just they argue with each other in the public eye, but behind the scenes,
into a sports rivalry, pretty much.
But having 6 teams fight each other is no better than having 2 teams fight each other.
No, it's not. But that's what I'm. But it's not for the people anymore.
This is what nobody likes to talk about. This is the truth. This is the God's honest truth. The best system of government, if you are going to have a system of government, the best system of government is to have a benevolent king who rules over everything. No one can tell him otherwise. He does whatever he wants, but he's benevolent and he takes care of his people and he makes sure you live a full, prosperous life and you're free to do anything you want.
It would be like North Korea, but then not North Korea.
But a nice version of it.
That's
the cold hard truth. And so I argue that no king is benevolent, that no person with that much power can wield it in a just way. So I don't believe in any government. I believe that all government is corrupt.
Yeah, I do too.
Personally. So here we go. We got some more here. The issue is, I feel that people cannot live with. Yeah, we got that one. I agree. I'm all for less government. Drunk Ben says. Now, Drunk Ben says monarchies are shit. Though the king's heir could be a complete idiot. This is true. Again, that's why I say that the best system of government you're going to live under is a benevolent king. The worst system of government you're going to live under is a malevolent child king that takes over when the king eats one too many Twinkies and keels over from a heart attack. And then his bratty ass son takes over.
He doesn't have a butthole.
First thing, the 12-year-old king comes out and he says, "Okay, day 1, we're bringing the guillotine back,"
right?
And then everybody gets their fucking heads chopped off. Nate comes in here and he says, "Media controls it all. Doesn't matter how many parties there are. Money is power in media and politics." I agree with that.
Completely true.
Ben says, "So kill the king." Well, that is blasphemy, sir. That is going to get you in the front line of the guillotine. You're going to get an express pass to the guillotine with that language, sir.
I will say though that I like guillotines, and I do think that for reason it's a terrible idea to bring back the guillotine.
For some reason, the guillotine scares the fuck out of me. Ever since I learned about it when I was a kid. And here's the thing. Because as a kid, I knew 2 things. I knew, 1, we used to chop the heads off everybody. I also knew a second thing that disturbed the fuck out of me. That the human brain can live for more than 60 seconds without oxygen.
Yeah, so your head lays there and is like,
So your head
man.
lays there with no body.
Yeah, put me
It
back on there.
slowly suffocates.
Yeah, yeah. You ever fish at all or do any fishing?
Yeah.
You ever caught like you ever ate turtle? That's a weird question, but
I don't think so.
no. When I was younger, we ate a couple I don't know, big turtles, and the older dude that we knew that cleaned them, he's passed away by now. But you cut the head off one of those big snapping turtles, it will bite you for 48 hours after it's off. And even once the head's off the turtle, when you're cleaning it, its fucking legs are like scratching. It's weird as hell. But yeah, their heads will still chomp for like 48 hours after you cut them off.
Jeez.
But they say it's just like muscle, but still weird as shit.
Ben says maybe Articles of Confederation was a good thing. Just move to a state that fits your ideals. Well, I always say that we're on the verge of splitting into at least 3 separate countries, and my plan is to live in whichever one carries over the Constitution of the United States of America and honors the First and Second Amendment specifically, the Bill of Rights and all of that goodness. And that's probably going to be Texas. Is where that's going to.
Isn't that just Texas now?
Yeah, basically. Boogaloo, Ben says. I don't know what that means. Man, the French were metal when it came to their revolutions, but surrendered in every war. Yeah, that's an interesting dichotomy. They love to kill their own leaders, but they really love to surrender to everybody else's leaders as fast as they could. A lot of that has to do with technological advancement. In World War I, they were still trying to fight with muskets. And the Germans came in and fucking mollywopped them with modern technology.
It's the same as like when Prohibition happened and a cop would pull up with a little 6-shooter and then one of Al Capone's dude would spray a Tommy gun at him.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a really cute little pistol that you have,
Ben says, everything I learned about the Articles of Confederation says it was bad due to not really having a United States. Yeah, do we need a United States? Does the entire continent need to be?
It doesn't feel now like we have a United States. No. It doesn't even feel like we have United Towns.
No. We have a nice mail system, a delivery system for mail, and nice interstate highways. Beyond that, what is the upside?
If you go out and just start talking to random people, I'd say there's probably like a 1 out of 5 of them at least you're gonna be like, I wish I could punch this person in the nose.
Yeah, and it's either way.
That's what I mean.
Either political side.
Mm-hmm. I always think asking a person what their political views are is the same as being like, hey, can I smell your asshole?
And because you're not gonna like it.
No, all it is
you're not gonna like it.
Just get it out of the way,
Ben says, don't forget the articles that discuss quartering soldiers. Drunk Ben is really trying to take us off into Sean, my buddy Sean. Do you know Sean Fowler?
Yeah.
Sean? Yeah. He says, holy shit, what's up, guys?
He is my son's uncle, or either way, I don't remember exactly how. He's my ex's nephew.
Well,
I sound like Snoop Dogg when I say that.
I've known Sean for a lot of years. So what's up, Sean? Thanks for joining us. Ben, Drunk Ben's back. We're too tribal these days. There's so much right versus left dichotomy, and if you even have an idea that's not totally 100% on either side, then you're an enemy. This is true. And I've noticed that a lot this past couple of weeks, where I have been pushing back really hard against this idea of shutting down, of government mandated, like the government gets to decide what's an essential business right now, which we've been discussing tonight about how absurd that is. But then they're also taking our tax money, which they robbed from us at gunpoint, and now they're going to send us these universal basic income checks while they've decided who can work and who can't. And that is such crazy socialism. But there are a lot of conservative friends of mine who they don't know any better than to just agree with whatever talking points come out of conservative media and conservative politicians. So if it's Trump bucks as opposed to Bernie bucks, then the Trump bucks are good bucks and the Bernie bucks are bad bucks. I'm saying I didn't vote for Donald Trump to become a socialist dictator who gives me a fucking universal basic income any more than I would vote for Bernie to be a socialist leader that gives me a universal basic income, because I don't believe fundamentally that universal basic income is a good idea, because I would rather keep my money in the first place than give 99% of it to the bureaucracy and have them give me 1% of it back and say, now that's yours, but you can't work.
And I think you're being lenient with it. They give you a full 1% back.
So no, and that's the thing. You know what Ben's saying is you got to be 100%. These people are yelling at me, going, "It's not technically socialism." It's like, do you know how many Bernie Bros have been saying it's not technically socialism? They've been saying that for 8 years.
Because once you let them start telling you they can do one thing, then what's to tell them that they can't tell you to do another? You know what I mean? It's like a mudslide.
Sean says, yeah, his shop's shut down. He's not considered an essential business. That's what we were talking about earlier, Sean. It's basically only you guys, tattoo shops, card shops, vape shops.
But in my opinion, a mechanic shop is more essential than, like I said, KFC.
Yeah.
Like, if your car breaks down, like that's serious shit. But not being able to eat your mashed potato bowl.
Famous bowl. We got to distribute the famous bowls.
Yeah, like I feel like a mechanic shop is more essential than Taco Bell. But
Drunk Ben says, doesn't Trump want the checks? I don't think Trump is really 100% conservative. I think he tried running as a Democrat in the 90s. Well, that's not true, but he is a 90s Democrat. At the end of the day, Trump's beliefs are no different than, say, the Clintons in the 90s. Obama, when Obama first came on the scene in about 2006, he was talking about marriage is between a man and a woman. He called himself a Christian. He talked about enforcing strong borders and having stringent immigration policies. I could go on and on and on. Those are all 90s Democrat and early 2000s Democrat policies that Trump still has to this day, but he's considered an alt-right cyber Nazi because the left has gone so far progressive beyond that. So at the end of the day, is there anyone that truly represents conservative America in politics today? I think Rand Paul represents conservative politics.
He's got coronavirus.
Very few, and he apparently has coronavirus. Very few others. That Dan Crenshaw dude, the guy with the eye patch, he seemed to be pretty conservative for a while, but I forget, there was some issue a few months ago. He came out really hard left.
Made fun of on SNL and then had to go out and say he was sorry. Yeah. You know, Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11. Did you know that?
Who?
Pete Davidson from SNL.
His dad died in 9/11?
Yeah, the firefighter that died in I don't remember if it was the first or second, but he died in one of those building collapses. He was a firefighter inside there.
There was, who was it? It's some famous director or producer was supposed to get, it was a filmmaker. It was a director of some horror franchise. I can't remember which one it was, but he was set to get on one of the planes that crashed into the World Trade Center and canceled his flight at the last minute and didn't get on the plane.
Some horror director died today.
Yeah, Stuart Gordon, big loss in the horror community, but I don't think right now is the appropriate time to be doing the endless celebrity obituaries. That's why I haven't said anything about it. Stuart Gordon is like one of my top 5 favorite directors of all time.
There were just another.
But he also is an old man and hasn't directed anything in years. So why we get all sanctimonious about these old men dying? It's like the movies are still there. They weren't doing any new movies anyway, man.
Yeah, the catalog was over.
We got a bunch more comments here. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. These comments are coming in hot and heavy. Ben says, I want to support small businesses. My great-grandparents ran a bakery and were hardworking people. Yeah, you should. Sean says, everyone is so fucking scared they wouldn't show up anyway. Yeah, he's saying that even if his shop was open, nobody would come to it.
Yeah.
Ben says, is marriage between a man and a woman? Who gives a fuck? It's not my business to care who marries who. I agree. I'm just telling you what Democrats said a handful of years ago. Ben says, I'm an American and I support liberty and the happiness. He is on one tonight. Drunk Ben is just, woo! He's rare.
He's got a torch going.
He's raring to go. I'm an American and I support liberty and happiness of others, he says. Well, yeah, me too.
Me too.
Sean says the virus is posh in Hollywood. Let's talk about that for a minute. How many fucking Hollywood celebrities are like coming out and saying that they're I just saw Kathy Griffin, Trump hating Kathy, one of the craziest Trump haters. Yeah. She is laying in a hospital bed in her street clothes with a dust mask on, saying that she's been transferred to the ICU and she can't get a coronavirus test. That bitch is not. If she was in ICU, she would be in a full-on smock. And if she was hooked to oxygen, it would be oxygen. She's on her own, of her own volition, wearing a dust mask, which does nothing, in her street clothes, saying she's in ICU awaiting a coronavirus test. I'm telling you, these celebrities, they exist on. Their entire existence is attention from the public. And
we should come up with a Corona diet.
Nobody gives a fuck about these celebrities right now. They are the last thing on people's. People are trying to make sure their kids are fed, that their homes are safe and secure.
On top of that, it's like it's Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, nobody has cared about her for a long time. Anyway,
Tom Hanks is like, who cares about you?
There's one dude. There's one actor dude that he's being called out by people saying that he doesn't actually have. He said he and his wife tested positive. This is not Tom Hanks. It's another actor dude has said that he tested positive for coronavirus, and people online on his social media are calling him out, saying he's a liar. And he's like fighting back, being like, "No, I swear I haven't." And it's like, it is so, as Sean said, it is so posh to have coronavirus right now because it's the thing that's getting the name of the celebrity back in the headlines.
Yeah.
If you're a celebrity and you say you have coronavirus, they'll talk about you for 5 minutes.
Well, and you're washed up and you don't have, it's like you can't get apart, but you can get coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
I hate, like I said, I don't mean that disrespectful, and anyone that has lost people to this, it's terrible, but the terrible thing about it is exploiting it that way. Like,
yeah, no, exactly. That's
it would be like if I'm
over and over again.
Cancer, so they'll put money in my bucket. You know what I mean? Like,
comments still coming in fast and furious. Seth MacFarlane, Ben said he was supposed to get on one of the planes, so that's I know it wasn't him, but
I'm pretty sure that it was him.
The one I'm talking about was a horror movie director, and
I think I have heard that though, that Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of those planes.
Let's see. All right, more drunk Ben. Remember all of the celebrities singing Imagine as they hang out in their mansions. Celebrities don't understand what it's like to be the average American, especially a working class American like myself, who comes from a hardworking blue collar family. No, they're clueless. They don't and can't know what you struggle with every day. Sean says it's amazing how none of them have any real symptoms. I said the same thing, that it's like this.
Say that to me yesterday on the phone.
This virus is hitting celebrities with no symptoms whatsoever. None of these celebrities are suffering. This is supposed to be a horrific illness that's causing respiratory, horrible respiratory.
Prince Charles was just diagnosed with it.
Yep.
That dude's like 71 years old. Like if you look at it statistically, that guy should probably.
Isn't Tom Hanks in his late 60s?
I mean, he's old. I know that he's got to be. Think about how long he's been around.
No symptom. He's still posting away on his Instagram like it's no big deal. Ben says, is it Tom Hanks? Everyone says he's a creep, but I thought he was an all right guy. Well, he's a celebrity, so that's all you need to know. Sean says, speaking of diet, I've lost 110 pounds in 6 months.
I heard that when you said his name, I was going to say to tell him that was fucking awesome, but then we kept moving on. But I heard that, and that's fucking awesome.
How'd you do it, Sean? Tell us what you're doing.
Corona diet.
The Corona diet. Let's see. Ben says, do you guys think the virus is real? I think it is, but I hate all the people trying to sell snake oil and shit during it. Yes, I think it's very real. I think that the celebrities are trying to get attention for it. That's the problem.
I think all kinds
of politicians are trying to
use it in different ways.
Yeah, the politicians are overreacting to try to dunk on Trump. The celebrities are trying to get attention for themselves. And we, the people, are stuck in the fucking middle.
What do they call it? Fear mongering?
Yeah, the media is fear mongering it like crazy. They have a running total like it's a fucking sporting event on all the major.
And then, by the way, they took all of our sporting events away.
Yeah, that's fucking except Vince McMahon is still trying to do WrestleMania. There's a whole. I mean, we could go on and on about that for a long time, but we'll leave that alone. Kevin, when are you going to come grapple? Well, nobody should be grappling right now because of coronavirus. Some people are saying the Chinese engineered the virus and sent it to us as a weapon. Yeah, I mean, does it matter?
I've read so many conspiracy theories about it.
Is that relevant right now? Can we go back to fucking work? Can we make a living for our families? Are our families going to die from it? Can we develop a vaccine or a cure? Can we do something?
Even things they say that you can be what do they call it, like a host, like you can carry it but not have symptoms. You know, how do we know that in like this all goes over with, and then in 6 months, how do you know that it isn't just that it goes dormant and comes back? Like, there's things that go and disappear and then come back. You're dealing with something that hasn't really been like we haven't had this before, so who knows like what happens later, I guess, you know.
Sean says he did 1,200 calories a day and exercise. You know, I've heard so many people just break it down that simple.
I've heard a lot of people use this exercise word.
What it is it's a caloric deficit. You count your calories down to 1,200 a day, and you exercise and count those calories burned at more than 1,200 a day, and you lose weight. Period.
I had a Fitbit, but it died.
I had a Fitbit, but I ate it in a Fitbit. I cut down to 1,200 calories a day.
I out of it because I thought it was a Jolly Rancher.
The other night I probably had 1,200 calories in a double monster burger from fucking Hardee's. Those things are fucking gigantic. I bet they're 1,200 calories by themselves.
It's lower though for him to have lost that. How much did he say he had lost?
100 and something pounds, man.
That's big time.
6 months. That's a lot.
I lost that much weight at one point in my life, believe it or not, and I am still this fat. So,
did you gain it back, or are you still?
No, I'm still. One time I weighed 510 pounds.
Oh, damn, son.
Yeah, right now I weigh like 360 or something. But
God damn, son.
I mean, I'm still, when I go to the doctor, he's like, "You're way too fat," you know, and I'm like. I know, man. We talk about this all the time. Ben.
Here we go. Ben says, politicians don't care about people. Do you think Trump cares about people? He's a businessman. He's supposed to come off as charming and appealing. Well, he's not charming or appealing, but I think he's a great businessman, and I like his leadership. I think he puts together a great economy for the American people, and a great economy gives people opportunities to work their fucking asses off.
I think he is the opposite of appealing, though.
Yeah,
he's like,
it comes from China.
They're good people. They're great people. They're magnificent people. I'll tell you, they like me a whole lot.
I've heard from lots of sources they like me a lot. I'm
very fun.
They've never liked anyone more than me, is what I've been told. That's what I've heard.
High IQ humans. And,
very nice people, very knowledgeable.
I like the loopholes that he uses. Like, instead of saying that guy's dumb as fuck, he's like, he is a very low IQ person.
I've heard from many sources I've heard from many people he's a low IQ person.
His wife called me and personally told me that he is a low IQ human. Have you ever watched that motherfucker drink water?
No.
Dude, he holds a cup of water the way that my 4-year-old does, like this.
Like this.
And then he's like, and then sets it down, and it's like, yeah, he's awesome to watch drink. There's actually a YouTube video of just compilation clips of him sipping water out of cups. And if you haven't watched it, you don't even deserve to exist, because on earth.
I love it. Ben says, I don't think any politician is 100% trustworthy. Well, I think all politicians are 100% untrustworthy. So
I think they're pretty much like a billboard. You pay them and they put
they say whatever the fuck you pay them. Ben says you can get it more than once. I think he's talking about coronavirus. Maybe humanity has reached its limit and the Earth is taking us out. So now we're on to the popular worship Mother Gaia. She is a sentient being. We as humans are a virus. We deserve to die. That has been fed to you, Ben, through a pipe of television and celebrities and media your entire life. They've been telling you that you're worthless scum because you're human and you don't deserve the planet that you live on. I would recommend a steady diet of C.S. Lewis and G.K. Chesterton to remedy that. They speak very highly of people and the potential of human beings and why we're doing just fine there, Guy. What else do we have?
Dude, people, you really think about it, like, people are amazing. The shit that we've been able to do, even some really dumb motherfuckers have done some really amazing things, you know? Like
what?
I don't know off the bat.
You're like, I don't know what
with me, but I know there's a real skinny Asian guy that can eat like 200 hot dogs.
Don't ask me the fucking list. I left the list in the living room, motherfucker. I was just saying.
I'm sure that something around you that you use was made by a dipshit. You know what I mean?
Let's see. A different Ben. We have two Bens now.
Is this one drunk? Or is this
probably. The other Ben says, fast twice a week, exercise, and you'll drop a lot of weight without having to give up too much food you like. So I've actually been doing this 16-hour fast thing where I don't eat after 5 p.m. And I've lost about 20 pounds so far. It's been about a month. I've lost about 20 pounds doing that. And yeah, I pretty much still eat what I want. I mean, I have to kind of, if I go hard and eat bullshit during the day. If I eat a whole pizza during the day and say, well, I stopped eating at 5,
I was just
not going to lose any weight that week.
There is no way on earth that if I eat what I want, I lose any weight at all, because I want to eat nothing but, like, I want to take a pepperoni pizza, stuff it full of tacos, flip it over on top of itself, smother that shit in a bunch of cheese. Like if I ate whatever I wanted, I probably could be dead by next Tuesday.
We got a lot more comments. Sean says he lost 110 pounds. He was 524 pounds. So we're gonna encourage Sean to keep going, brother. Keep going. I've been doing this exercise routine called DDP Yoga. Diamond Dallas Page, the pro wrestler, he put out calisthenics.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, he put out like a calisthenics / yoga program that does a lot of like planks where you got to like hold yourself up by your body weight. Yeah. It's all like body weight exercises, and they're like he contorts you into these weird pretzels, has you stretch your body out, and then like do knee droppers. Ugh.
I've been doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin diet, which is where I chug non-alcoholic beer and then I choke slam someone. Or the Texas Rattler. I give him the Texas Rattlesnake.
The Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, we are fucking good. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I haven't lost any weight, but I think I really hurt the neighbor kid the other day.
I gotta catch up with these comments. Junk Ben says he's definitely a meme. Talk about Trump. Yeah, he's a master meme. I think he's gonna win again. Drunk Ben says. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you too.
He's fucking going up against Dementia Joe. There's no way Dementia Joe is most
he's gonna
progressives are gonna stay home. They're not even gonna.
Biden wins, he'll win, and then he'll be like, "What happened?"
Let's see. Tons more comments. I gotta hurry up through these. Tulsi was trying to win over libertarians, but I don't think she did. She didn't win anybody, bro. Trump called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man. He called him Little Rocket Man.
I remember when he called him Little Rocket Man. And they told him that they would be met with fire and fury like the world's never seen.
I wouldn't say I'm worshiping Gaia, just maybe there's something greater. Yeah, there's something greater, but that doesn't mean that you are something lesser. I'm just an atheist, he says. Yeah, no shit. Your whole culture has taught you to be that, has taught you that it's virtuous to deny God. You're saying, on one hand, you're saying you think there's something greater. On the other hand, you're saying you're an atheist. You need to sort that out, buddy. Sort yourself out there.
That old comedian that says he prays to he worships the sun and prays to Joe Pesci.
Yeah. He said he thinks we're very smart and intricate primates. I think that reduction by scientific notation is not any. It's what it's being like. We're just talking monkeys flying on a dirt ball that doesn't change.
We got the thumbs.
Reducing things to their scientific meaning doesn't change their level of importance. It's like saying consciousness is only mechanisms firing in your electronic impulses firing in your brain. Yeah, I don't care what it is. I care what it does. The magic is in what it does, bro. It creates love. It creates art.
The thing that sucks at the end of the day, none of us can do anything about it. We'll just fall victim to whatever happens.
Drunk Ben says America's potential is amazing. It is. It is. Other Ben says guillotines win. We actually talked about guillotines a little while back. They scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. I'm pro guillotine.
Drunk Ben says tacos are ducking good. Just do jujitsu and you'll be good. Drunk Ben says I'm 176 and still losing. You were a lot less than that. They had you fighting at like 145 and you got your ass kicked.
I've had fish tacos but never duck tacos, but I would try a duck taco.
I'd pretty much eat any meat on a taco. I would for ethical reasons I wouldn't eat a person on a taco, but pretty much anything else is a go. Sean says nice, he saved Jake the Snake. Yeah, DDP. There's a documentary on Netflix called Resurrecting Jake the Snake, and it's all about DDP bringing Jake the Snake into his DDP yoga program and really helping that guy out.
Not to get too off course, but there is a documentary on Netflix called Tiger King. Have you seen that motherfucker yet?
Oh my god, yeah, I just watched it. I just finished it yesterday.
I was like, this was filmed in Granite City, and then they said it, and I was like, what?
These people just fucking festering meth heads just being nuts. I couldn't believe it. It got crazier and crazier and crazier as the whole thing went.
Like, whoever said like meth heads should have tigers
and guns, tigers and guns and meth.
That's a weird transplant song. Tigers and guns, tigers and guns. Yeah, that documentary is crazy. Also, the one "Don't Fuck with Cats." Have you ever seen that documentary?
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy one. Although I felt like the ladies that and the dude that ran the forums, that the documentary is like centered around them, but it turns out that like everything that happened really had nothing to fucking do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of puffed themselves up like they were more important than what was going on. What was going on was there was a fucking serial killer killing people, and then he got fucking caught for being an idiot and posting about it all over the internet.
Yeah, posting videos. He'd like fucking duct tape a cat to a broom and drowned it.
Yeah. Really fucking horrific shit.
Yeah. That's why guillotine should be here still,
Yeah. Drunk Ben says, I just don't think there's a right answer. Well, that's the problem, Ben. That's why I tell you that you need to study a lot of G.K. Chesterton and C.S. Lewis. They have a lot of nonfiction audiobooks. C.S. Lewis is the author of the Chronicles of Narnia, but he was really well known for his nonfiction book, Mere Christianity, and then many other nonfiction essays and books talking about morality, ethics, religion, politics. And G.K. Chesterton also is a great nonfiction writer. These guys were both from the turn of the century, early 1900s, and they really they talk about universal truth. They talk about truth, beauty, and goodness. And Ben, once you accept that there is an intrinsic truth, beauty, and goodness to the world and to humanity, you look at things completely differently. If you constantly look at things through, your college education, the media that you consume, all of your culture, all of your celebrities, they all push this idea of postmodernism and moral relativism on you, and that's what makes you feel these different contradicting things is you've been told by everyone, you've been told by your culture your entire life that there is no such thing as an intrinsic truth, and anything that you feel like this just feels to me like a universal truth. You're told that, well, other cultures and other countries see things a little bit differently, and what you're just looking at things through the lens of white privilege. White male privilege, you cis straight white male, those kind of things go out the window when you believe in a universal truth, beauty, and goodness. So I recommend that you kind of ruminate on those fellas there. Marcus Aurelius is another guy that's you can find all this stuff is in audiobook form on YouTube for fucking free. Marcus Aurelius, he wrote what did he call his princes? Is that what his Prince, I forget what he did, what the name of his work is. But Marcus Aurelius was wrote about ethics, and he's a masterful essayist himself. Brad's just over there, just looking at me like,
well, I know very little about politics. I don't claim to know hardly anything. I've never really read many books other than if it was like a comic book. And I like this whole shit's scary. I don't know if the way that I feel about it is right or wrong, but I also think that everybody should talk about it nicely, not where like we start burning each other's house down and it turns into Lord of the Flies. But I think that that's something that we don't do enough in this country is just talk. It's always just I'm right. You're wrong, and it's so gray. It's like but yeah, I don't know a lot about this. I don't read books, and I like Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy's really good.
It's cool.
Let's get back in here. There could be something, and there could be anything. We are definitely interesting creatures. Yeah. Thumbs are great for nachos. Sean says absolutely. Yeah. Drunk Ben says he was 155, not 145. That sucked. Yeah, his gym sucked him down from like 180 to 155, put him in a cage, and got beaten 13 seconds by a guy. He was so skinny. He was so starved and skinny. I was so mad. I was like, "Fuck that gym! Quit that fucking gym! If you're gonna cage fight at 180 fucking pounds, dude. That's your.
What did they cut him to?
They cut him to 155.
That's big.
Yeah, they cut him down to skin and bones.
That's why I said they beef jerkied him.
Yeah, and then he got fucking knocked out in 13 seconds. Other Ben says, let's do ropes. Simpler and more painful. Oh, jeez. Jeez Louise. He says he's cutting better. Drunk Ben says he's cutting better. So I guess he wants to go back down there. A lot of guys, they have, and I'm not saying that Ben is one of these guys, but a lot of guys believe that the 180-pound guys, they're fucking nasty. Yeah. Strong, they're fast, they hurt you. They're sharp, they have sharp edges.
Yeah.
On the elbows and knees.
Those elbows that like your whole face is opening up. If you
a lot of guys have this idea that if they cut down to 155 or skinnier, that somehow those guys hitting them isn't going to hurt as bad. You have so much less hydration that it's actually been shown that the less hydration you have on the brain, the harder your brain takes the impact when you get punched in the face.
If you look at the UFC, look at how the body style of the fighters has changed. Like you don't see a Mark Coleman, like a dude that's like, you don't see that. Everybody wants to be lean and mean. Nobody wants to be like the Incredible Hulk out there.
But notice that the big guys, the heavyweight division, they last the longest. The oldest fighters in MMA are heavyweight fighters.
Yeah. Also, though, the heavyweights have there's never really been a crazy dominant champion.
They always lose after what is it? What's the record? Like 3?
I think it's 3 or something. And then hammers at each other's faces. It's like the first sledgehammer that lands wins. Did
Stipe defend it 3 times? I think he did. I think he defended it 3 times.
And then
the record, and then he got his shit pushed in.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's.
How many times did Daniel Cormier? Did he defend it twice? Maybe.
Maybe. He got knocked out by was it?
I think Steve beat him. Huh?
Didn't Usman take it from Cormier?
I don't remember. Every time I think about Daniel Cormier, I just think about him crying in the ring after
getting beat by John Jones every time.
That one where he cries is the saddest thing. And they're like, well, what do you think about the rivalry? And he's like, well, you don't really have a rivalry when you've lost.
When you lose every fight. Oh, man. Hang on. Let me catch up. We got a lot more comments. Thumbs are great for nachos. 155. Do ropes. Cutting better. I can't wait to watch this now, Sean says. Remember your old boss from the video store. He hated succeeding at business. I used to run a porn shop. I used to manage a porn shop a long time ago, a whole nother lifetime ago. And the guy that owned it was a real piece of work. I actually named so his name was I'm not going to dox him. He had a name. And junk mail started showing up at the shop, and the junk mail had somehow messed up his name, had switched the letters around and stuff. And a letter came one day for Don Duepe, and that is where I got the name for my villain character in the Dead Shit movie and later the Dead Shit comic books. Don Duepe is literally I took the name from my psycho old boss from the
that boss pass away?
No.
Oh, really? I had heard that.
As far as I know, he's still kicking. Because I saw him at a grocery store like a year ago, and he was still alive. I couldn't believe it. I didn't talk to him. I just saw him. Let me see. Trying to catch up here. All right. Drunk Ben says, is that really a universal goodness? I like Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism is one of the best philosophical schools of thought. I just don't know if a higher being is an ideal belief. Well, buddy, that's something you're going to have to decide all on your own. The world is so easily offended, Sean says. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Ben says, Drunk Ben says, man, that fight sucked. I think he's talking about his own fight, the one where he got knocked out in 13 seconds because he was fucking sucked down to a beef jerky. If anything, I'm a 170 guy. I don't care what weight you fight at, Ben. I just want you to do well. I want you to fight wherever feels good, where you feel strong and you feel fast and you feel confident. Drunk Ben says at 165 division would be my other choice. Well, you don't have one, so it's not a choice. Just want to do well. You should want to be the best in the world. I told Ben one time, I said, my best advice about your MMA career is if you don't think you can be the best in the world, then don't fucking fight.
Well, what like that Brendan
that mindset that you're better than everybody else.
Brendan Schaub straight up says that he quit fighting because Joe Rogan was like, dude, don't do that again.
Yeah, you're not very good. You're not very good at this.
You're my buddy, and I have to watch you get, beaten up. Don't do that.
The fucking head over and over again. 155 is the best division. Drunk Ben says, I don't know if I agree with that or not, but whatever. Khabib, Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson. I guess they're all 155ers. Oh, he's saying it's the best division as far as UFC fighters go. I thought he meant like
he's probably that. Honestly, he's probably there. That division
fluctuates. I mean, for a long time it was the 185 division.
Well, before
that was the 205.
A bunch of those guys at that weight class can go up or down.
Do you remember when 205 was Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz,
Vanderlei Silva, Rampage Jackson?
Yeah, the 205 division was the best for a long time. Then it dropped to 185. Now it's dropped to 155. It's weird that it kind of drops down.
Dan Henderson was 205. It used to be anybody that was anybody was that weight class.
Yeah. Joe Rogan yelled at him, talking about Brendan Schaub. He sure did. But he cares about him, so I get it to a point. I mean, I don't know if I have a real opinion on whether Brendan Schaub should have kept fighting, because I think Brendan Schaub is kind of a fucking douchebag. I think he was a douchebag fighter. Now I think he's a douchebag comedian. I don't really like the guy at all. So I don't really have a comment about whether or not I think that Joe's advice was good advice or bad advice. I think that Joe just cares about his friends.
I think that
I've had my cousin and my brother were both cage fighters, and that was so fucking stressful watching them get in a cage.
I think that
fight other men.
I think that Brennan Schaub would have not had a very success. I think that he was just on his way to probably getting beat up a lot more. And that isn't like, I think that it's just like the sport, like it's just it's so much deeper than it used to be. There, you can't really sit there now. When I first start watching UFC, there was like 10 killers. Now it's like they're all killers.
They're very much more evenly matched these days. You know what I'd love to watch is the progression of the women's division. Did you see that Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus the Asian chick from 2 weeks ago?
No,
where Joanna Jędrzejczyk got this fucking hematoma on her head. Did you see the forehead?
Yeah, I saw those pictures. Didn't that get fight of the night that night?
Yeah, but I think that's maybe one of the best female fights ever.
That's what my brother-in-law watched it and said that it was one of the greatest fights that it's like whenever Forrest Griffin fought that
Stephen Bonner.
Yeah. Remember that?
Well, it was the female equivalent of Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner for sure. And the thing is when did Ronda Rousey really come on the scene and bring UFC a women's division? 5 years ago?
Yeah, probably something about that.
Maybe 5 years ago? 6?
That maybe? Amanda Nunes chick is scary as hell. Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think that if Cyborg had been allowed to, because they did to Cyborg what they did to Ben. They sucked her down to a beef jerky and then threw her in there with Amanda Nunes. And Amanda Nunes ate her for lunch. But I don't know that she could eat a healthy, hydrated
Cyborg.
I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway.
I just couldn't believe Nunes's had, like, she just was not afraid. She stood there ready to bang. Like, she was just, let's swing with Cyborg,
Sean says, I'm out. Great seeing you guys. Great seeing you too, Sean. We'll be doing these more often at night. And if you want to hang, just fucking hang. We'll always be here chilling. So, but yeah, it's been like 5 years since Ronda Rousey brought a women's division to the UFC, and women's fighting was really kind of bad. It was not at a very good level.
Dude, not even like it was terrible. I mean, it was just whose arm is Ronda gonna rip off tonight?
And Ronda was exposed as being a pretty one-dimensional fighter after not very long. And that division is
probably one of the most one-dimensional fighters, because
female fighting. Yeah. Possibly. Like, who would be the male equivalent? Would be like who was really extremely one-dimensional, just had nothing on him but one move.
I mean, Pat Barry as a heavyweight was a fairly one-dimensional. He was going to leg kick you and throw punches and then probably get tired and get drugged down on the ground and beat out.
Thinking like maybe like a Wanderlei Silva. Pretty one-dimensional. He's going to throw punches like this.
Yeah, as far as like, and he ain't going to, you're probably going to get submitted by him,
Chris Lieben, pretty one-dimensional fighter. He didn't have a lot.
Yeah, the Chris Lieben just had the ability to get the shit kicked out of him and keep going.
Just like a zombie fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the women's division evolved so fucking fast.
But I don't know that there's ever been a fighter that legit, it was just like, I got this one move. Because Ronda beat everyone with one armbar.
Yeah, overhook.
Yeah.
She would come in, throw jabs that had nothing on them, grab the overhook, and then the judo.
Roll you over, flip you into some. Yeah, I mean, but really, even if you look at like what she did, I mean, the like rolls and shit that she did is pretty basic judo. It isn't like she was doing anything crazy. It's not like, I don't know. She brought that women division to life, but she was far from the most talented woman fighter. Even probably at that time, she was just the one.
She got found out so easy. Like as soon as the fighters realized, like as soon as the trainers realized, if you can stop that overhook, you stop her entire progress forward.
When Holly Holm kicked her in the head,
but in order to get to that head kick, all Holly Holm had to do was avoid the overhook. Yeah. She avoided the overhook jab, and eventually got the head kick. And then Ronda Holm's not even that good.
No, when Ronda got head kicked, it looked like she had never felt pain. It was like, what was that? Someone can kick me in the head.
Yeah.
Then she was never That dude earlier, I don't remember who it was though, was talking about Tony Ferguson, and that dude's a monster. If he just it seems like he's hurt all the time.
Right. Yeah, kind of like Dominique Cruz. Dominic Cruz, who was rare talent but fucking hurt all the time.
That dude was he was a great fighter, but I always think about Tweak from South Park. If Tweak, because he was always like,
yeah,
you know,
who was that douchebag that came along? He had a feud with who, the blonde kid. I'm not saying he's a douchebag. Who's the blonde kid that he was the star of Team Alpha Male?
Uriah Faber.
No, Uriah Faber.
TJ Dillashaw.
TJ Dillashaw had a feud with this tattooed fuck.
Cody No Love Garbrandt.
Cody Garbrandt. He would do this. Cody Garbrandt would do this shit, and it didn't do anything for him. He got his ass beat every time he fought TJ. He would jump around like this.
And I'm not a fan of Tony.
That was you remember when Conor McGregor was with that dude that was like teaching him to do all those silly fucking movement coach. Teaching him like this shit's gonna get you, bro.
My favorite thing ever was the Nate Diaz saying, "I saw you and your friend playing touch butt in the park."
Playing touch butt in the park. I love
it. In that video.
Yeah. And he quit. He fired that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he fired that guy.
Get caught playing touch butt in the park.
Drunk Ben says Dominic Cruz is the best 135er. Well, he was till he got fucking hurt all the time. That's the thing. Is like you got to be able to fight.
Massive knee issues, and I think that's the same as Ferguson. Is they both
got hand issues.
They would break.
He would break his hands all the time.
Dude, Uriah Faber, before he was in the UFC, that WC, what was that called?
WC.
Yeah, dude, he broke both of his hands. That's where Faber was an animal. Like, by the time he came into the UFC, he was on his downslope. But if you watch Uriah Faber in that what was it called?
WEC.
Yeah, he was a fucking psycho he broke both of his hands in a fight and won with elbows and shit. Like,
yeah, I remember that. I remember him fighting with elbows.
Yeah, he would just give up his back like it was nothing. He'd be like, "Oh, you want it? Here it is. Take it." He was fearless. But yeah, Uriah Faber is a beast. I still like him. He's got the craziest chin, and I don't mean like that he can take a punch. I mean that it's like Jay Leno.
Oh yeah, he's got a fucking.
There's a fucking butthole in the middle.
We've chased everyone off but Drunk Ben talking about MMA. We were talking about politics. Everybody wanted to chip in their 2 cents, but we chased everybody off. So I think we're gonna call this one for now. Man, coming on at night, we get a lot of chatters. We get a lot of chit chat. We usually do these things in the middle of the day.
We also make comic books. That's the thing that we do most of the time, other than yell at each other about.
Hang on, let me make you. Hang on, let me. Nope. Go the other way. Can I not go the other way?
Probably not. I think we messed with this one time before and it wouldn't do that. Remember?
Trying to make you the big one.
You got trading cards. You guys want. But this was fun, dude. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, shill your shit, man. Where can they pick that shit up?
You can get I have an Etsy shop, or you can go onto my Instagram and hit me up, or you can hit me up on Facebook, or you can put a letter on a pigeon's leg and let it go and see if it makes it to me. Pretty much any of my social media, which is mostly all under Stinkhouse, is where all my stuff is. I have an art book that's like completely finished that I'll be putting out pretty soon. It's going to be called "This Is an Art Book," like with a question mark.
What's the URL for your Etsy shop?
Honestly, I have no idea. Amanda, what's the URL for my Etsy?
Well, all right, never mind. We'll get it. We'll get it figured out.
I'll send it to you, and you can put it in the description of these videos.
I was gonna throw it on a banner across, but we'll call it that.
I do have one though.
Politics is dumb. MMA is the ERSC. Drunk Ben is to the point that he can't even. Dan Henderson is the greatest gift yet ever. Gift yet ever? Yeah, he's.
Did he say Dan Henderson?
Not even making sense now.
But
I guess
agree.
movies at night is going to be what gets us our best viewing audience, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it seems like tonight also no one was real mean to us, you know?
Yeah, that happens often.
Yeah.
That's also kind of a YouTube thing.
We also weren't mean to anyone else. So we did good and they did good.
Really did. All right. Well, we'll call this a success, and maybe we'll do nightly shows. Not every night, but when we do shows, we'll do it at night. We'll do it at night.
We're gonna do it at night, Kevin.
All right. I guess that's it. Follow me.
Like Uncle Craig. It'll be all right.
YouTube.com
/Tuck you in at night, and if you
Strange.com.
follow me, I can get.
I didn't even get to show off my fucking comic. Look how much of this I've got done.
I know, that's what I was wanting to see.
Look how much of this I've got done, dude.
Fuck yeah.
That's fucking 30 pages of Cockhammer Lives.
That's the exact amount of pages I have done of Life with Riggs issue 2. 30 pages penciled. Yes, babe. My URL to my Etsy is etsy.com /shop /Stinkhouse Studios. And then my Instagram is just Stinkhouse. That's where like most of my art is on my Instagram.
Like that?
Yep.
Etsy.com /shop /Stinkhouse Studios. You can buy Life with Riggs, the comic book. You can buy Brad's trading card set. You can buy stickers.
Prints. Pretty much anything I draw, you can get a print or a sticker of. And like I said, I have just a full art book that I'm going to be putting out pretty soon. And I have 30 pages of Life with Riggs issue 2 penciled. So, shitting and getting.
All right, we're going to call it a day. Thanks for hanging out, gang. Thanks for all the comments. Definitely come back next time. We'd love to talk with you guys. Mostly we do drawing shows, but we haven't done this in a long time. And goddamn, the coronavirus gave us a lot to talk about. But generally, with everybody in quarantine and everybody, the weird world we live in, we want to give you guys something to take your mind off. We kind of confronted it tonight, but normally we're going to do our best to just relax, have fun, and draw comic books here with you guys, and hang out and talk. So we'll catch you next time. Until then, I'm Kevin Strange.
I'm Brad. Don't spit in each other's mouths.
And with that,